Hi, Joe. I am happy to know that you aspire to be an Episcopalian priest aiming to balance family responsibilities with ministry, focusing on setting boundaries, delegating tasks, maintaining communication, practicing self-care, seeking humility, reflecting on God's grace, and cultivating a strong marriage and family life. Before I start, may I introduce myself? My name is Father Andrew. Thanks for inviting me to share my life about balancing ministry with family life. Notice, we are a family in this house. My wife, Sarah, there helping the kids with a small craft project at the dining table. That is our situation in the house with small children. Please bear with me with the areas I would like to share. First, set to prioritize and set boundaries. When I first became an Episcopal priest, I quickly realized how easily ministry can consume every waking hour. On one hand, parishioners need pastoral visits, the vestry needs leadership, and sermon prep never ends. On the other, I have a wife and children who deserve my time and attention. I learned that establishing intentional boundaries was crucial. For instance, I set aside Monday evenings for a family night. No meetings, no phone calls if possible. I also block out one day a week for pure rest and family time. Communicating these boundaries to the parish is key. When parishioners understand that I'm a husband and father first, they respect those times I've dedicated to my family. Second, learn how to delegate and trust others. Early in my ministry, I tried to do it all, leading every study group and organizing every outreach project. I didn't want to burden anyone else. Not only did I risk burnout, but I also missed the chance to empower lay leaders in the congregation. Now, I embrace the Episcopal tradition of shared ministry. I have dedicated teams for Bible study, outreach, and even pastoral visitation. By delegating to these gifted individuals, I'm free to focus on my primary responsibilities, both at church and at home. This collaborative approach enriches the parish and helps me find balance. Third, maintain healthy communication with my family. Ministry can be draining, emotionally and spiritually. If I'm not careful, I can come home depleted, with little left for Sarah and the kids. That's why we make time to talk openly about schedules, stressors, and how we're both feeling. Every Sunday evening, we have a quick family meeting. We discuss the week's calendar, any upcoming parish events, and how they might affect our routine. This helps us remain a team, making sure nobody feels left behind or overshadowed by my ministry obligations. Fourth, practice self-care and seek support. In seminary, they taught me the importance of spiritual disciplines, but they didn't emphasize how vital self-care is for a priest with a family. I need to refill my cup regularly through prayer, spiritual direction, exercise, or simply enjoying a hobby. I also lean on fellow clergy for support. We gather monthly for lunch and share our struggles and joys. Having peers who understand both the joys and pressures of ministry is invaluable. They keep me accountable and remind me that I'm not alone in this vocation. Fifth, embrace humility and ask for help. It took me a while to admit that I can't do everything perfectly. When I struggle, maybe I'm behind on sermon prep or feeling overwhelmed with family needs, I've learned to ask for help. Whether it's calling on a retired priest to fill in for a Sunday or asking a parishioner to help lead a midweek class, there's grace in saying, I need assistance. My wife, Sarah, is also a wonderful reality check. She'll gently remind me when I'm taking on too much. Showing vulnerability not only fosters a healthier environment at home, but also sets a tone of authenticity in the parish. 6. Reflect on God's grace and power. Some days, the weight of responsibilities, sermons to write, pastoral emergencies, children's homework, feels too heavy. In those moments, I cling to the reminder that God's grace is sufficient. I often pray, Lord, I can't do this on my own. Strengthen me in my weakness. Time and again, I see the Spirit at work, guiding me through challenges and confirming that my calling, both as priest and husband-father, is upheld by divine power, not just my strength. 7th, balance ministry and family priorities. Being an Episcopal priest is a sacred calling, but so is being a husband and father. My family is, in many ways, my first ministry. They're the people I'm called to love and care for most intimately. To ensure they don't get the leftovers of my time or energy, I periodically reassess my commitments. Is there a committee I can step back from for a season? Am I overcommitting to evening meetings? Balancing these priorities is a continuous process, but staying mindful preserves my family's well-being and the health of my ministry. 8th, cultivate a strong marriage and family life. One piece of advice I received early on was, your marriage is part of your witness to the congregation. If I want to model a healthy family life, I must intentionally invest in my relationship with Sarah. That means date nights, shared hobbies, or simply praying together. With our kids, we do a weekly family devotion, something short, kid-friendly, and fun. These moments show my children that faith isn't just Dad's job, it's part of our whole family's life and growth together. 9th, learn to say no and manage expectations. A big lesson has been learning to graciously decline certain requests. Whether it's a late-night committee meeting or an extra Sunday service, I found that saying no at times protects my family's well-being and my health. I do this kindly and respectfully, explaining that I need to maintain balance. Most parishioners understand. Some are even relieved to see a priest who practices healthy boundaries, which encourages them to do the same. So Joe, being an Episcopal priest while nurturing a loving family is a beautiful but challenging vocation. Yes, there are limitations and weaknesses. We can't do it all. But by setting boundaries, asking for help, practicing self-care, and leaning on God's grace, we can thrive. Our families become both our first ministry and a living example of Christ's love to the congregation. By showing authenticity, humility, and balance, we offer a testimony that a priest's life, though demanding, can also be joyful, healthy, and deeply rooted in the love of God and the support of loved ones. May God guide you, strengthen you, and fill you with wisdom as you walk this path of priest, spouse, and parent. Remember, you're never alone. Lean on your parish, your loved ones, and most importantly, on our Lord, whose grace is sufficient for every need. Good luck, Joe.